Store existed. We started building our platform 6 months before that. So our thinking was very early at the time. And I'm not going to say that we saw it was a market that was going to be this big and come this fast, but we definitely saw a better way to consume content on the phone. And that's where we started. So being in Waterloo was great, a lot of great exposure. And we started to grow the company, bring on customers. You see a few logos here in kind of mid-08, heading into 09. We really were successful in breaking into the US. That was pretty intense. So, we landed these 4 customers, Time, Business Week, Sports Illustrated, CNN Money, and a Canadian customer called the Food Network, which is actually being used more globally than in Canada because of the population. So we landed these 5 major accounts within a span of 6 days. So you can imagine the roller coaster leading up to that and the roller coaster right after that. And these were accounts that I've been working on for probably a good 8 months for some of them leading up to that. The first time I went down to New York to start meeting with these media companies, I'd get asked, what's a small Canadian company doing in New York? Maybe some of you have heard that before as well. So I paused. I wasn't really sure how to answer that question. And then I picked up my BlackBerry, I held it up, and I said, where was this made? And the guy across the table obviously said, China or something. And I said, no, it's a place called Waterloo, Ontario, and that's where we started Polar, and that's where we're from. So it went from being a small Canadian company being a negative thing to a huge positive that completely overshadowed that in a good way. Getting the U.S. guys on board was tough. It was one of our biggest challenges. It's something we were clearly successful at, but it took a lot of hard work, and it took a lot of determination. I'd asked the head of Time magazine after he said yes and kind of closed the deal with us, why did you choose to do business with us? And he had said to me, look, you guys were persistent, you weren't annoying, you were professional, and you've got products in market that look good. The persistent part, I'm really glad he said that, because that really reassured me that all that persistence paid off. Because you never really know from a sales perspective what's working, what's not working, but you just kind of got to keep at it, and that's what we did. So getting the US guys was great, and we continued to grow the team. And fast forward to now in 2010, we're really excited, and what we've started to see is the global market really open up for us. Today's actually an exciting day for our team. Not only because it's the first day of the NHL playoffs, and that's why nobody from our team is here tonight. They're all actually in the office. So we've got so many hockey customers, and there's, we're deeply ingrained with our customers and the products that when something like the playoffs start, our guys are all over it in terms of making sure everybody can get those playoff alerts and scores on their phone, and everything works great. Is that? Yeah. We're not going to stick any leads data in there, although we probably could. But this morning we launched our first customer in the UK, which is exciting. And by the end of this week, we're launching our first customer in South Korea. Next week is our first customer in Hong Kong, and the week after that is our first customer in China. And you'll see Indonesia, the Middle East, and Latin America all within the next probably 60 days. So this is another, feels a bit of another deja vu of when we closed all these big US accounts in a very short period of time. That's happening again now, which is very exciting for the team. Our team is close to 30 people now. We continue to hire people. We are hiring in all regards, in all aspects of the company. And we're really excited to really scale the company. Today the mobile market is huge. There's tens of thousands of companies in the space. And, our value proposition today when I meet with potential prospects, mainly in the U.S., is saying, I've already made the mistakes the other guys haven't made yet. And that actually carries a lot of weight and, value in a new space that's growing really fast, where people see it as core and as strategic. So the big thing for us today is our growth globally. And the other big thing that you're starting to see, we heard about the iPad, and you're going to see mobile change from a mobile phone to a mobile device. So we're already starting to to work with companies that see mobile as, that Android that sits on your fridge, or the TV widgets, or the car widgets, the number of different, obviously, operating systems out there. Mobile is really starting to expand beyond the phone. And that gets very exciting for a company like us that's got a platform that sits behind everything to be able to push content and deliver content to all of these different devices we're calling, versus phones. So that's kind of a small glimpse into where we're going as a company. Can't share too much, but when we talk about the roller coaster here, it's really representative of what it takes to get a company off the ground, to build a team, to get a customer base, to get a product to market. I'm sure you guys know software is never 100% perfect. And some of these bumps are definitely representative of that. But the key is to kind of keep at it. So first, I gave a keynote about a month ago at a leadership conference, a student leadership conference, about entrepreneurship as a roller coaster. And the deck was a lot longer than this one here. I put it onto one page. And then after I gave that presentation, after I gave the slides, I brought up our logo. And then one of the students in the audience asked me if that's how we came up with our logo. I was really freaked out at that specific moment because it's absolutely not how we came up with our logo. But there's a bit of symbolism behind that. That I had no idea, but subconsciously was there, and that it is a roller coaster, and kind of getting ready for it is what it takes. So that's it in terms of what I wanted to share, and happy to take questions, and I'll be around as well.
So I guess I'll just start off with a question, for everyone in the audience who is a member of a startup or an entrepreneur themselves, other than being persistent, what do you think is the top piece of advice that you can give to someone that's embarking on their own company?
It's a really hard question.
You can have two people.
So there's the obvious one around having good people around you. I'm going to extend that by saying not only having good people, but having enough people. Is when you're really thinking about, as an entrepreneur, you're very ambitious, you've got tons of ideas, you're out there talking to a lot of people, so you see a lot of opportunities that other people probably don't see. And because you're an ambitious personality, you want to conquer and do all of them. So having good people, but also enough people is key to scale. And I'm going to give a second piece of advice, and this is something that I think a lot of us probably struggle with, being in Canada, is having a global perspective. I can't tell you the number of companies, even through running Impact and hosting tons of young entrepreneurs as speakers and interacting with, aspiring entrepreneurs. The market is bigger than Canada. It's bigger than Canada and the US. You've got to really think global, especially when it comes to software, social media, mobile. There are no barriers. I'm starting to learn about tax treaties and things like that. But that's a good sign, because it's representative of really thinking outside of North America. Our software now speaks 15 different languages. I don't speak 15 languages, but it doesn't mean our software can't. So, go global.
Okay, so we have a question right here.
I'm always very interested in how businesses get started, especially the successful ones. So you said you had 5 partners and you graduated from Waterloo. Did you all jump in full time? What happened at the beginning?
So the question is, how did you approach it with so many co-founders, and how did you guys all get started together?
So the people started at Polar with were great people I had worked with either in co-ops or in class or with Impact. So it started with 1, and then it went to 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5, and then and then 6, and then we graduated. And it's pretty clear that anybody coming on board, this is what we were doing full time. I remember in April when we were finishing our final exams, I sat down with the guys and I said, don't worry if you don't pass all your exams and if you don't graduate, because you still have a job. You're not going to get paid anything, but you still have a job.
Okay, I see one back in the corner there.
Did you face any unforeseen challenges in scaling globally?
So did you face any unforeseen challenges while scaling globally?
So not yet, but I'm betting pretty big that we will. Today literally is our first